Carter, I believe you have breaking news.
I do. Yeah. I have breaking news, everybody.
Oh.
And that is that Harvey Weinstein has coronavirus.
The Corona Diaries.
Did you hear that, Sam?
Sometimes things go good.
Sometimes.
Harvey Weinstein.
I did hear that.
And Rand Paul.
Rand Paul have coronavirus.
Both have coronavirus, so...
Yep.
But I kind of don't want Harvey Weinstein to have it.
He's just going to spread
it. What if this kills him? And then we don't get to have the joy of him having to live in prison.
That's true.
As a sex offender, where he will get his face slashed up by razor blades. He's going to ask to go into protective custody. Dude couldn't last a day in GP.
Oh, he's been in there for a while. He got sentenced already.
Yeah, but GP and PC are different.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, PC is a personal computer.
Yeah, GP is...
Georgia Pacific. They're a paper company. They're doing... bang-up numbers now.
General population and protective custody.
Okay.
People on protective custody either ask to be there because they're scared of being in GP.
Yeah, sure.
Or they're like snitches or high-profile people that would get killed if they were in the regular part of the prison.
Yes.
But also like celebrities and shit go to protective custody.
Okay.
A lot of the time.
I'm sure he's going straight to PC, avoiding Mac altogether.
Oh, yeah. Hopefully.
Yeah. You know, GP isn't the shower time of GP, isn't that considered by most guards nap time?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just look the other way hour.
Well, they don't fucking go in there and gaze at Peters or anything.
No.
They're not in the shower with you.
Yeah, that's when Jeffrey Dahmer got his. Was in the shower.
Got his coronavirus?
No, got beaten to death with an iron rod.
Oh, okay.
Too good for him, I say.
Yeah.
That's a hot take, but I'm going to say it was too good for him.
Yep.
How do you guys feel about that news?
Like I said, it's kind of cool because Rand Paul's neighbor now has an awesome opportunity to get him while he's down. Yeah, he couldn't quite take him out on the lawnmower, so now he can actually get him while he's down.
I say it's karmic justice, especially from a disease that comes from touching. And let's just say Harvey Weinstein is a practitioner of the bad touch.
Oh, you were talking about Harvey Weinstein. I'm still thinking about Rand Paul. And
Rand Paul.
I was trying to think. There's some joke there where he's a laissez-faire libertarian, a hands-off kind of guy, but laissez-faire didn't protect him in this.
Yeah, not in this circumstance.
Yeah, it's airborne.
Harvey Weinstein getting coronavirus. It's hard to elicit the same, like, oh.
Why are we wasting our test kits on him?
Right. You know what I mean? Like Idris Elba, beloved by all. Tom Hanks, beloved by all. Harvey Weinstein, good. You know what I mean? Like, you just kind of hope that he died in prison at some point anyway.
That's what sucks about this country, is if you can be a fucking sentenced rapist and they're still like, oh, we got to make sure you're doing good.
Yeah. Shit.
I guess the crime for rape isn't letting them die in prison.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Spreading a highly infectious disease in prison.
But that's just one thing. You know what? A listener texted me.
Oh, yeah. I got one of those, too.
And they thought an interesting thing to talk about, which I also think is interesting. Did you guys hear that GameStop has declared themselves an essential business and has refused to close?
Oh, wow. Okay.
They've refused to close, really?
Yep.
Interesting.
They are an essential business, according to them. Which, that just means they're like, people don't have shit to do. Video games sales are going to go up.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Also, the Animal Crossing came out. Like...
Oh, our roommate is currently downstairs playing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
People were waiting for that to drop. They knew they were about to make a ton of money just doing that, and they couldn't close the stores for that shit.
Yeah, I mean, video games are... I mean, I've started replaying video games.
Me too.
It's been fun. I gotta be honest. It's been fun. That being said, though, absolutely not essential.
No.
This is from their website. While there are many businesses and organizations far more critical than ours, we believe that we can have a positive impact during this very challenging time. The health and safety of our employees and customers is of the utmost importance, and we have and will continue to take extensive precautions consistent with CDC guidelines.
A positive impact on the community. It's like bookstores closed. Like, you know what I
You
mean?
go in there and you just touch random games until you find
Yeah.
the one that you like the most.
Yeah.
Oh, y'all heard McDonald's in the UK shut down. No
Really?
delivery, no drive-through. Fucking England done. McDonald's is closed.
Can't get a quarter pound.
Yeah, well, over there they don't know what the fuck a quarter pounder is. They call it with a Royale with cheese. You know,
I was about to say, I don't know if you guys ever seen the movie Pulp Fiction.
yeah.
But there's a whole thing about it.
Yeah, but they closed. Yeah, no Royale, no more Royale with cheese. They closed.
Interesting. I mean, I guess it has to do with how just intense. I mean, Europe's the epicenter for it now, right?
It's
Europe.
Italy, I think.
Oh, it's Italy. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot that Italy's part of Europe. Okay.
And Spain. Spain's apparently pretty
Where'd
bad,
you
too.
think it was, Rivers?
I just forgot about it for a moment. I wasn't, you said Europe, and I wasn't thinking about Europe.
Okay.
So,
My dad didn't believe that Russia was in the continent of Asia. He was like, no, it's its own thing. It's Russia.
Everyone's getting to brush up on their just
Geography.
like geography. Yeah.
well, they used to call Russia Eurasia because it is
Yeah.
half in Russia, half in Europe, and half in Asia. But the distinction is a racist one from the colonial days. Actually,
Yeah.
Europe and Asia are the same landmass, according to plate tectonics.
But yeah, I don't know why I brought that up at all.
I mean, how much?
Anyways.
I wonder how much more business they do. Pardon to use a term like that, but how much more business they do in Europe, McDonald's does, than here.
Oh yeah,
I don't know. I work with an English girl, and she says the best fast food is like Indian
Yeah.
curries
yeah.
and shit like that.
Oh,
Apparently,
man.
Indian food in general in England is incredible
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
they're
Well, that's what
they're
happens when
close.
you take over a country.
Yeah, right.
and
Yeah.
Get their cuisine.
Shout out to all the great Mexican. Well, we didn't take over Mexico.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
yep. Are there any more thoughts on the GameStop situation?
Yes.
Yeah.
Interesting turn of events. Pennsylvania governor not too hot on it.
Oh yeah.
Pulls
Really?
GameStop's business license.
Shit.
Whoa.
GameStop
damn.
cannot operate in the state of Pennsylvania.
Hot damn, dude. Wow.
Which, like, you hear that GameStop's open. What's your reaction? Mine is they fucking shouldn't be open.
Yeah, they should.
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
gonna go now.
Yeah,
I'm just like, that's dumb.
We've got a mail system. I feel like I can get every video game on the internet for cheaper.
But, like, the cops aren't going to go down there and be like, yay, fucking lock these doors, kick out all these nerds, fucking,
Yeah.
That's never going to happen. The FBI is not going to come shut them down. But fucking a local politician said, fuck that shit. You can't legally operate anymore. We can send the cops there if you keep trying to fucking operate.
I mean,
Which, that's some G shit.
I
Yeah.
agree. I also think that, that's like GameStops. Everyone here has been inside of a GameStop.
Once or twice, yeah.
They are not spacious.
No, they're tiny.
They're tiny little boxes
Yeah,
in
yeah.
malls. I mean,
Yeah.
they're not like it's not a Best Buy or something like that.
Yeah.
It's a fucking it's a cubicle.
You cannot put both of your arms out and spin around without hitting some shit. In
Right.
GameStop, it's
I was
small.
talking with my brother too, and apparently they're trying to like justify it by saying, "Hey, we got fucking alcohol, like rubbing alcohol, like disinfectant type
yeah,
shit."
yeah.
But apparently the disinfectant they're using won't kill the coronavirus.
Yeah, it's like made of lavender. It's some
Yeah.
hippie bullshit.
Oh,
It's Myers Daily.
But it's fucking just greed, They're like, fucking people are gonna be at home, nothing to do, fucking cha-ching, dollar signs in the eyes.
you don't understand. We had something coming out. It's like everyone did.
Yeah.
Fucking plans changed. Sorry.
Yeah, but you don't understand. This is good for people who stay home.
You know what other business saw green?
Who?
Hobby Lobby.
Really?
They are not closing.
They can. I mean, don't they have to now?
They have to, but they
Yeah.
said they're not going to because the president's wife, they're really Christian.
Yeah,
If
Right.
you don't recall, that
I'd heard that.
the
yeah.
wife like prayed to God and then had some premonition that they should stay open.
Oh, good. Well, they won that.
So people can make like volcano models during these trying times? Like,
so Hobby Lobby, like you said, they're very Christian. They won that Supreme Court case where they could like deny access to abortion to their workers and shit like that under Obamacare and all that. So they're those shitheads. So fuck them in the first place. I'm sure the people who run Michaels are also dickheads, but at least it's not them.
Right.
But yeah, no, that's of course they're the people who did that.
Yeah. They just know that somebody's going to be like, fuck, I could fucking learn to knit now. I could get my fucking gift baskets together.
We've got
I need some fucking plastic pears.
Again, shout out to Paulo Nelson. The post office fucking exists. Just order the shit from the internet and stop. Just if you're making, you know what? If you want to start your bead business, great. Do it and just order it to your house. Just don't go to Michael's right now. Don't go to Hobby Lobby, please.
Time will show that this has to reflect poorly on these businesses after this is all said and done. It's like you're one of the ones that stayed open during the coronavirus.
Well, you want to know a very, very fun development that I was just looking at on Twitter. So Los Angeles, well known for its traffic. A lot of news organizations have helicopters that they fly over the freeways, give updates on traffic. But right now, nobody's on the freeways. So what are these helicopters to do? One of those local news stations put a thing on Twitter where they're just having their helicopters fly over parks and beaches and film gatherings of people and shame them. So literally they had a helicopter flying over the basketball courts at Venice Beach and just being like, and they have the same guy who usually gives the traffic update, like, oh, we got a nasty accident here on the 405. That kind of like flat affected tone. He's just going, well, it seems to be a large basketball game has broken out here in Venice Beach, taking no precautions at all. Okay, and now we're here over in Huntington Beach, and we see people grilling in very close proximity to each other. That's probably not for the best. Okay, now we're here on Manhattan Beach. You see some college students are playing some sort of drinking game, it looks like. Like it was a bunch of kids like playing beer pong.
An acoustic guitar is there. And, well, you just can imagine that these are all basically Petri dish humans that are...
You're not going to get those fucking hoopers off the Venice courts. They're there 7 days a week. Hey, it's raining right now. They're still out there.
Here's the thing. The coppers tried to get them off the beach on beach blanket bingo, and it didn't work then, and it's not going to work now. Those kids got to dance.
Yeah.
Those kids got to
they
dance.
Have to dance.
You know what they shut down that I was kind of surprised at? The flea market swap meet thing down the street in the parking lot of the LACC.
Damn.
It wasn't happening.
Apparently the Studio City Farmers Market was still happening today, which is wild.
That is wild. You know what else is wild? The people who just set up their tables on the street were still set up.
They gave not a fuck at all.
No, and there were less of them.
Okay,
I will give that,
good.
but
That's good.
I know a place where we can buy Sonic the Hedgehog on DVD right now, boys.
Yeah, $20 to stream my ass.
Fuck that.
Speaking of video games and Sonic, I had a friend who was posting like all the Switch games that she had, and one of them was there's apparently a game called Mario and Sonic Go to the 2020 Olympics in Tokyo. Whoa. And I was like, oh, that shit ain't happening. Mario and Sonic are going to be really disappointed this year.
Oh, yeah. What, the 2020 Olympics, when are they supposed to happen again?
2020.
Oh, yeah, this year. July.
Well, yeah, but I mean, what month?
July, the Summer Olympics, July, August. Like,
No.
Yeah, it's 2 weeks. I think it's the last week of July, first week of August.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sorry, athletes who forego having jobs to train for this one specific thing every 4 years.
Yeah,
and
sorry.
kind of fucks up your life trying to do this.
Sorry.
Sorry, athletes who've been training for this their whole lives.
Sorry, Sonic. Sorry, Mario.
Yeah, sorry, Sonic. Sorry, Mario.
Nah, Sonic's good. He has a fucking feature-length film out.
True.
Yeah.
He doesn't need a gold medal. He's got all these gold rings. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. So, they're going to cancel the Olympics, but really, I mean, when are they opening the bars back up? Come on.
Well, a lot of places are doing to-go alcohol now.
I know. The place I used to work at
If you buy food, you can get booze delivered.
In what? What is
Cans.
In
Oh,
Texas,
in cans.
yeah.
Okay. I thought you meant like in yeah.
I bet they could give you a to-go cup with a mixed drink in it.
Yeah, you just have to have a top on it or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
New Orleans for sure does that.
Just tape it shut.
Yeah, shout out to I saw the pictures from Tropical Isle. Monica sent me a couple of pictures from Bourbon Street, and obviously no one's on it. But Tropical Isle, which has the hand grenades, those
Right.
big stupid ass drinks, they're still serving those, but to go because you can drink on the
How
street in
sad
New
is that
Orleans.
to be sitting at your house drinking hand grenades?
Hand grenades, dude? I was.
I don't want to tell you.
Hey man,
Because I've experienced that.
oh man,
Christ, yeah, I don't know. I
You
mean,
just black out.
you just
And
black
then you
out.
wake up with a fucking spilt hand grenade on your fucking lap.
A spilled hand grenade and the DVD menu for Office Space still
Yeah.
playing and shit, and you're just like, that was crazy.
I smell like Everclear.
I smell like that was so much better than going out to pukey old Bourbon Street.
The thing is, you intended to go, but you're like, I need one to start me off, so I don't spend too much when I'm down there. And then you just fucking give it a go.
Yeah.
Give that
Yeah.
fucking syrupy booze a chug.
But I have a joke about it, and it's real. Is like I always go down there every single time. I'm a super lightweight. I don't drink that much, so I always go down there. I see people with it. I'm like, all right, I'll get one, and then I drink it, and then I'm fucked up
Yeah, oh, yeah.
because I'm super lightweight, and that thing is just grain alcohol and like watermelon flavored liquor, like.
Oh, yeah.
And so, and they're sweet, and then all of a sudden you're like stumbling and shit. And yeah, I will inevitably have at least like one or two of those in New Orleans. And then you got to go to Pat O'Brien's, get the Hurricane too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so New Orleans
whole
is
deal.
It's bad news for me because I am not scared to drink girly drinks in public at all.
No.
And I am a super lightweight, and all of the New Orleans girly drinks are made to destroy you.
Well, you
Yeah.
shouldn't be scared to drink girly drinks. The whole thing about fucking
New Orleans is it's all sugar booze.
toxic masculinity where men are like, no, your fucking face is supposed to feel on fire after you drink.
Yeah.
Dude, it's supposed to taste like pure rubbing alcohol.
You fucking pussy. Coconut rum? No, just drink rum.
Yeah. Let's go mug somebody.
Yeah, dude, I know some places where people don't lock their cars.
Yeah, dude, I'm fucking drunk on pure grain rum cocoa schnapps. Yeah.
I'm gonna smoke crack out of my hand.
Yeah, you just let it burn in your hand
Just
and
let it
suck
burn in
it.
your hand and suck it.
Just suck it. Oh, man.
Want to listen to me freestyle?
I'm fucking good. Oh, man. I've had this thought today. Because right now,
Tell us, Carter.
what are we left with right now but our thoughts? When everything gets back to normal, quote unquote, when everything gets back to normal, I was like, is it going to be great? Like, is it going to be like, as soon as everything gets back to normal, yes, we get to go to bars and sit down in restaurants again.
Yeah.
With
But-
what money?
With what money?
Yeah.
And who's going back? And a lot of people aren't going back to jobs. Like, it's not going to be fantastic. It's not going to be like, oh, what a relief. We can dance in the streets. People are going to be like, oh, fuck, what am I going to do?
Well, today online, I was reading somebody's opinion that the U.S. tanked on responding to it because we knew that the economic collapse of it was going to fucking be ruining for everybody.
Yeah.
And so that they tried to just for as long as possible be like, it's not a big problem and don't worry about it, because they knew the second we really started actually worrying about it, this is what is going to happen.
Right,
Everybody's going to lose their jobs. There's going to be businesses shutting down.
Yeah.
Things are going to be a lot different.
Different, I think. Yeah.
It's going to be a new type of normal.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, I embrace that too. And as long as everyone's healty and shit, that's
Change
fine.
is good, man.
Change is good. I agree. And maybe it'll be some sort of a way of like a new normal, and hopefully some bad characteristics of the previous existence will have been wiped out, washed away. Who knows? I'm not saying in a eugenic kind of way, but in a
Oh, I am. I can't wait for all the comedians who spend all this time at home, and then you go, staying at home's great. I'm just going to keep staying at home.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
going to happen.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
People
yeah.
are going to fucking quit comedy. But also people are going to come back to comedy, I think, at first, when we first can all go back out.
Yeah.
A lot of people are going to go back out and just be like, oh, God, I've been wanting to get out of my house. And then they're going to fucking bomb. And then they're going to have all the thing in their head of being like, sitting at home was nice.
that was cool. I liked that.
And then they're going to just fucking quit.
I bet a lot of people are going to try to start working from home after this.
Yeah. Well. So what?
Start their own businesses and shit.
What?
Not have to rely on the man.
Yeah. Well. So if nothing else, what this has demonstrated to the public writ large is that almost all jobs are bullshit.
Right.
Almost our entire economy, and it's not like this is a new thing.
Whoa, you're sounding like a real communist now,
well,
Rivers.
But it's the thing is, like, since the manufacturing base of the United States, like, economy left, and basically starting in the mid 70s and up through NAFTA and all that bullshit, there have been effectively no actual jobs. The shit people do,
Nothing worth a shit.
For the most part, there are definitely, as we talked about in our call-in episode, there are the practical jobs of, like, X, Y, and Z has to be done, and someone has to physically do it.
Yeah. Right.
Those are jobs.
But those pay so poorly
and
for the most part.
Right. And the big readjustment is going to be, hopefully, everybody realizing, like, oh, no, the jobs where you're doing stuff, where you're either taking a product from point A to point B, like things that involve the supply line, the things that make our, whatever capitalist economy work, those are the jobs that are important. But all of the middle management bullshit, all of the, everyone...
Executives and fucking board members and shit like that.
Making sure things go swimmingly.
Yeah. Those jobs are useless, know, and in fact...
they're just title.
And in fact, in many cases, because of, the whole point of America was to get rid of, the monarchy and stuff like that, we replaced it with an oligarchy. We replaced it with rich people who then hand their money down to their stupid children who... are not, in any way, like, qualified to take over whatever the business is and stuff like that.
Not more so than anybody else.
Not more so than anybody else. Yeah, exactly. So when we do have to go back and overcorrect whatever the fuck just happened here, I would hope, bare minimum, it is the point in which many Americans, because we've been, it's that John Steinbeck quote, like, in America, there's no such thing as poor people. There's only temporarily embarrassed millionaires. Have you ever heard that?
No.
Yeah, so John Steinbeck said in America, the reason that socialism can't work in America is because Americans don't think of themselves as poor people. They think of themselves as temporarily embarrassed millionaires. Right. Meaning that even a guy who's working for fucking peanuts thinks like, well,
it has been for 40 years.
Been for 40 fucking years. Is like, hey, this is a rough patch, but this is what you have to do to make it in this country.
Right.
So what he's speaking to is the failure to grow a class consciousness in America, and a lot of that.
No one wants to accept their lot in life here.
Right. Well, it's what everybody talks about, like, especially with, like, the struggles during, like, Jim Crow era in the South of, like, basically racist poor people making concessions to rich, racist white, like, basically the poor white people are being like, well, at least I'm not black. Right. Essentially, like, without realizing that their lot in life is actually connected more to a black man on the same level of economic level, where if they had joined together and voted the rich guy and sent him out of fucking office, then you could have, raised a class consciousness and stuff like that.
Sure.
So I hope, bare minimum, that this thing will at least wake a couple of people up to be like, hey, there is no reason that a guy making $40,000 a year should think that the guy making $10,000 a year is the problem.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, the guy making 40 grand should always side, but you see that shit. We all see, we're all from the South. You see that shit on Facebook every day of people you went to high school just being like, well, I shouldn't be expected to tip, it's not, restaurant work wasn't meant to be, a permanent job, and blah, blah, blah. Like, that bullshit. Yeah. And then you look at that guy and you're like, why? What the fuck? What's your thing where, and it's what's happening now with the stimulus package too, where they're like, they're now going in and, like, Mitch McConnell, his new proposal is like means testing it. And now the third proposal they're on now is Mitch McConnell being like, okay, so if you make less than $20,000, we're only giving you $600.
I think it's also interesting how everyone who, maybe way of disdained people as being like leeches of the state and living off of welfare. It's like now we're all like, when are those checks coming? You know what I mean? Like everyone is.
Right. Well, and it's just as, that argument is the easiest way to turn that around is like, you have paid so much more money to Wall Street and to the military than you ever have to food stamps.
Right.
Like if your paycheck, if your tax dollars was a fucking pie, the sliver that goes to food stamps would be an invisible slice of the pie, and the military and and corporate handouts would be the majority of the pie.
Yeah,
and it's just making people realize that shit, and it's unfortunately, like I said, most of it goes back to people who are like, well, I ain't fucking black, I ain't a brown guy, and that original sin of American hegemonic white racism is what has stopped us from growing a class consciousness, I think, in this country. Because it's just so much easier to be like, well, he don't live like me.
Well, I mean, if this results in that sort of thinking, that sort of realization, it will take a lot of time.
Yeah.
And this works in both ways. You can be poor and you see somebody who's more poor than you and you go, that motherfucker's poor.
Right.
And you see somebody who's doing slightly above you and you're like, that motherfucker's rich.
Yeah.
Rich people don't think they're rich.
Yeah.
Because they know people who are like worse off than them, but all rich people know people who are extremely rich.
Right.
So they'll have a fucking mansion, but they'll be like, you know who's rich? The guy with fucking 3 mansions.
Right.
Yeah, like I'm making ends meet.
Well, money is essentially, lubrication on the ease of life. So
Well, now that we're talking about this sort of thing, Americans not being able to have their class consciously accepted.
Right.
Saw an upsetting thing on social media.
Okay.
A comedian started a GoFundMe.
Oh God.
To have a tire fixed.
Okay.
On their Tesla, which
Jesus.
they live in.
Oh.
They're homeless, but they live in a Tesla.
But it's a Tesla.
But they can't afford to have the tire changed.
To paraphrase Robert Yasamura from the Frank Sinatra Jr. episode, sell the Tesla and go home.
Yeah.
Sell the car.
Can he sell or he, she, whoever it is?
Yeah.
Can they sell the Tesla right now?
I bet you could.
Yeah.
Some way, maybe.
How much is the GoFundMe? What's it trying to raise?
It was only for the tire, so it was only like $250.
Yeah.
But it's probably more than that because they were saying you can't just go to a regular mechanic. You have to go to a mechanic that has a lift that won't break the battery.
Yeah, because Tesla's got all that like fragile shit underneath. So.
But yes, people in the YouTube comments were saying, "Why are you own a Tesla? Why can't you do this?" And there's a long response back, basically saying that she works so hard on grinding and traveling and. Just one of those stories where it's just like
it's over.
Pretending to be a failed road comic isn't how you become a comedian.
Yeah.
I mean, it's also, speaking of consciousness, people just certainly don't have like the amount of consciousness to see that like when you're at your end of no one wants to admit that they're at the end of their rope. You know what I mean? Like everyone's just like, I'm out here grinding and like you can do, I don't know. I mean, from someone who is similarly deluded, like myself, I mean, I would say that, it is to give like a novel length response to that. Like I could see it's covering your own ass, but you got to understand why that looks like bullshit.
Yeah.
She's sells bikini calendars of herself. She's a bikini model.
Okay.
Like every funny comedian. And she has her like little like catchphrase, like hashtag or whatever is nerd tits. So she's gone with this like thing of like, I'm the sexy nerd who's funny, but she's homeless.
Right.
She's literally homeless.
Right.
The type of people, as we were talking about, probably the most looked up down upon person for being so poor.
Sure.
And now she's going online trying to come up with a scam. She came up with a scam.
Yeah.
To scam?
It was she got Cash App, and if you get somebody else to join Cash App, she gets like $5 and they get $5. And so she was like, hey, if everybody joins this, send me your $5. It doesn't cost you anything. And,
wow.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just taken on a person-to-person basis, this person is untrustworthy. And
they're just dumb.
They're just stupid, and it's hard to, especially when you have, like, such a paper trail of your stupidity online, you know what I mean? Like, I would say I feel bad for this person. I really do.
Yeah.
Do they get my vote or my money? No. But do they I feel bad because they have like a long paper trail of their stupidity.
I feel bad for any comic that tries to make it by just going on the road and doing shitty gigs in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
I feel.
That being said, I do appreciate their gumption.
I know, and I get it. And going and doing road shows is fun, but I'm talking about comics who like only do road shows. They don't have like a home camp.
A solid base to build material. And like what is it? I'm sorry, like hone material until they go out and
exactly. They're going around and they're just hacking it up all across the United States, and you can go to some town where it's just like you're going to a VFW in fucking Illinois and there's nobody there.
Yeah.
And then they're like, yeah, you're the fucking nerd tits. This is hilarious.
Man, it makes it really feel like such a racket. You know what I mean? As opposed to like an expression or even a vocation. Like it's such a racket.
Anytime I've ever been paid decently for stand-up, I'm just like, really?
Same. Every time I've gotten more than like $20, I'm like, I'm not gonna say anything.
Can you afford this?
If I say something, they're gonna double.
I always have that voice in my head, just like act like you've been here before. Act like you've been here before.
You own the shit. You own the shit.
They're handing you $300. They're handing you $300. Why?
Oh my god. Yeah. It's like
guys. Come on, guys, get it together.
I mean, like I said,
after my first scam of getting paid too much for stand-up, my thought instantly went on to how much more can I convince people to pay me for this?
Yeah. I mean, and to the same degree, like, you know, I never go out on the road, like ever. And I've been trying to work.
You got to change that, guys.
I got to change it. But like, so I do appreciate.
Let's use some of that Patreon.
I was gonna
money.
say, man, as soon as the shit's over, we're coming to your town.
Oh yeah,
along with every other comic who's planning the same tour right now.
We like to party down. We're an American band.
But yeah, of course. But I mean, like that's not an easy admission to make because like a lot of like people who are considered very foolhardy and dumb and for going out and doing the shit. And it's like, oh, my Tesla broke down. It's like at least they had the gumption to go do it.
Yeah.
So there is something to be said about shooting your shot, but it's also like, it is really hard in general to see like a lot of these like as a comedian right now. But I part of it I think is jealousy because it's like they really staked their entire living situation on doing comedy. Yeah, and that is such a crapshoot to begin with.
Yeah. We did get somebody asking for some advice that I think is actually
good.
It's actually pertinent to what we're talking about.
Sell the Tesla.
Sell the goddamn Tesla.
Sell the Tesla. But in her case, I would say sell the Tesla.
To wrap that up, I will say I will donate to this fund if this comedian agrees to go back to wherever they came from and go live with their parents forever.
The sad part is I think they already are back where they came from, and they just sleep in the Tesla. Yeah.
Leave it on the side of the road, chalk it up to a bad mistake.
Yeah. Just go home. Just sell the car and go home. So this comes to us from Dominique Demare from our Patreon. Advice question. I'm 26 and I've always wanted to move out to LA or San Diego. I used to want to do 3D modeling for games, but now I don't know what to do with my life. How easy or difficult was it for you to transition from Alabama to California? Any advice on how I should go about doing it? I would say for me, the way I went about doing it was I worked at a delivery place and saved my tips for 2 whole years, lived like a fucking monk. And by that, I mean at my parents' house. So if you have that privilege, then take advantage of it, which I did at that age. But and I didn't spend any money. I barely go out anyway. But basically saved my money for 2 years, saved up what I call my jetpack fund, which I believe was about $4,000. And originally moved to San Francisco, crashed on a friend's couch for 4 months, and then moved to Los Angeles after I realized I didn't want to be in San Francisco. So my advice is at least know where you want to go. And then just physically getting here and getting an apartment and just getting your, roots put down, as tenuous as they might be, is a good first step. And then, I would say get a sublease originally, find something less for, for less than 6 months in case you're like, fuck, I can't do this and you have to bail, which is probably the way to do it. So, I mean, do a fair amount of planning, but also the thing I tell absolutely everybody is the same, which is set your goals high and your expectations low and have fun.
Yeah.
Because that's all it is like if you can make yourself mentally happy, LA's not going to fix your brain necessarily all the way, but if it's where you feel like you need to be for work or whatever, and based on what you're saying here, as far as you're wanting to do 3D modeling for games, Silicon Beach, this is where it's at. There's a bajillion game companies out here, and if you can, the thing that I find, and this sounds stupid during these current circumstances, but assuming we go back to some sort of normalcy,
I think we will.
The thing I like so much about Los Angeles is you can just visually see creativity turning into commerce in front of you in a way that you cannot anywhere else on this planet. Pretty much in the English speaking world, there is nowhere else like LA where you can be like, oh yeah, I knew so and so, and then he got huge. I always knew he would make it.
And it keeps people here for forever. It's what I've noticed.
It's a double-edged sword, because it could drive you crazy if you get what we refer to in comedy as comedy cancer, where you're just resentful of other people. You're like, why did he get that? Why did so and so get to go on Conan? I'm funnier. If you can.
It's crazy when you actually start seeing it too. Like you think about it as as something that might happen, or like you read about it as happening to other comedians, but then when people start having that kind of talk with you and shit, and it's just like that cancerous kind of talk all the time, and it really makes you feel like shit, and then you participate in it, and you don't plan on participating, but you do.
Look,
it is fun.
Shit talking is fun, don't get me wrong. Don't limit yourself.
There's such a fine line, though,
but don't let yourself believe it. Just be like,
get it out of your head. But
like, my thing I always tell myself is, I'm like, until this global pandemic happened, I have not been bored since I moved here.
Right.
There's not been a time until now, very, very extenuating circumstances, there's not been a time where I'm just like, this kind of sucks here. Like, there's always just some shit going on for me. So it sounds like if 3D modeling for games is what you want to do.
But he says that's not what he wants to do.
Huh? Well, it said I used to want to do 3D modeling for games, but now I don't want to do it. Oh, okay. Well, I would assume
I got some advice.
Okay, yeah.
Rivers, you've been given a really optimistic view about this whole question.
Yeah, let's get some. I just gave the sweet. Let's get the sour.
Well, the thing is, you got to figure out, first and foremost, you got to figure out what you're interested in. Just a very, very base.
That's what I was going to say. Don't come out here with nothing to do.
Don't try to figure out your life by just going, I want to be a thing. Start doing whatever that thing is. Like, if you said it's the thing about the game modeling, were you already modeling games or drawing or working on stuff like that? Because like Carter's saying, don't come out here if you have nothing to do. This city chews people up and spits them out. I've seen it. It drives people crazy to live here.
Oh, yeah.
And
it is famous for that, more than anything else.
And because it's not even that you come here and your career dies, and it's people like you who move here for no real reason, and the city's a huge adjustment. No matter where you're from, the city here is a huge adjustment. If you're coming here, come here with a plan to do something.
Right.
Because if you come out here without one, you're going to know zero people.
That's true.
The town is huge. It's hard to meet people.
Very, very.
You're not going to just meet people walking down the street or going into a bar. You're not going to make friends
like going to a
easily.
bar all the time. I was gonna say too. Like, I think that's exactly correct. Is like you have to have like a purpose in coming here, and also.
It's expensive.
It's expensive as shit. And like the whole thing, to your point of like it being like there's something to do all the time. It's like, yes, but it requires money. And and it is a competitive as fuck job market out here. And
it is.
You have to be like very good at what you do, or know it, have that figured out before you get here.
Have some skills. Have some fucking skills that transfer into a job.
That's crucial. Okay, so I will go back and
Rivers, don't talk. You just fucked up this guy's life with your advice. Just kidding.
No, I'm gonna go back and just put a little addendum on mine, which is that I had the great privilege of coming out here to do comedy, which is in and of itself a very social sort of thing where and I think I've talked about this on the show before, but I grew up in a small town. I went to high school there, went to college there, and I had and still do have a very, very solid friend group, like where the people that I've known pretty much my whole life but it got to this point where when it was time, when I was thinking about moving, the reason I was thinking about moving is because moving scared me so much, where I was like, oh, I have a great life here kind of a thing. And I was like, oh, I like all these people and I don't want to move. I could just live here forever. And then that thought kind of like turned me a little bit, where I'm like, where I had this sort of, I had this sort of like pillow essentially that I knew I could land on, where I'm like, might as well go somewhere else, take a chance, and if it sucks, then I'll come back and I'll be with these people I love.
I'll be a townie.
Right, I'll be a townie. But then I started doing stand-up, and stand-up was the thing where I realized, because I would, do the half-ass road dog thing like you were saying.
Sure.
I'd go to like Oxford, Mississippi, and I had never been to this town before, and I noticed like, oh, I like immediately met 3 people doing stand-up there, where I'm like, oh yeah, these guys are cool. I feel like I've known them my whole life, because it's such a niche sort of social thing. Go to Atlanta, same thing. Go to Chattanooga, same thing. Any sort of weird town you roll up in, if there's a comedy scene, you're sort of immediately, if you're just not like a weird dipshit, then you can make friends with people in that town.
Yeah.
And that kind of gave me the confidence where I was like, okay, well, I can at least move to California and sort of get in the comedy scene wherever I end up and sort of figure it out. So I think you're very right. I didn't even consider that. If you're trying to get into, something that's maybe not as social based as far as a career path goes, then it can be a bit
You're
more
going to
difficult.
come out here and you're going to feel lonelier than you have ever felt in your entire life.
Absolutely. And doesn't matter how much time you spent doing something, it is square one all over again.
Yeah, that's very crucial to know. Is even if you're the king of Oklahoma City or wherever the fuck you came from, you got to start over.
You're starting, and the later
just
you
comedy,
at least for
related.
comedy,
that's comedy related, but it's also like
it's got to be professionally too.
Well, if you're good at fucking modeling video games, they're not going to be like, you just did that back in fucking Illinois.
Yeah, you're right. That is, and I have seen people who've come out here not to do comedy, but just to like become like lawyers and like go to like law school and shit like that, and hit the ground running and did great.
If you come out here with a plan and you're willing to execute, this is a great city to do it.
And you will see it happen for people who are like-minded, who have great attitudes and who try.
Yep.
And you'll see it happen, and that can either encourage you or discourage you. But if it encourages you, it becomes really exciting, and success seems within reach.
And which is also what drives people insane.
Which also drives people nuts.
I
would also say come out here with no less than 10 grand saved up.
10 G's.
10 grand. Like I'm telling you, will blow through it like crazy just trying to find a job. Like
you'll go. I remember back at home, I like to relax with a nice pint of beer and a burger at the bar after I.
That changes.
$75.
Yeah. Well, you're being a little facetious.
Of course.
Realistically, $25 to $30 for something like that.
A beer and a burger is easily $30.
Yeah.
Easily. Like, and I mean, it's that kind of shit does it, and it's not to discourage this person at all.
No.
I encourage you, if anything, if this is what you really want, you should come here. But
it's beautiful out here. You'll meet people that will change your life out here, for sure. But it can go south really bad. That's why it's frightening.
So many people move here, and within 6 months, they're out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They're
it's intense.
gone.
It's super intense.
Almost my entire friend group has turned over. Since I've moved here.
As someone who just made it my first year here,
and
I just came up on 3.
Just came up on 3. Rivers, how long you been here?
It'll be so 7.5. So
7.5.
8 in September. Yeah.
As someone who's just gotten cleared their first year, it still doesn't quite. I feel like it's like my privilege to live here. Like I was like, God damn it, it's beautiful, and like there's all this shit going on, and it's exciting, and I don't feel like it feels like imposter syndrome a little bit.
Yeah.
And like, I understand after 2 years, you start feeling like, okay, this is home.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
But like, I mean, it's expensive as shit, but it is so exciting, and it will, I would say, but yeah, as per everything that Rivers and Sam are both saying is true. Yeah. And I think this is a good way of looking at it. And when everything clears up, absolutely have a purpose for moving.
Yeah, well, and this might be limited to comedy, but I could totally imagine it being the same way in other career paths. I know so many people who moved here to do stand up, and now they're doing something completely different that they love.
Yeah.
That happens a lot because this is, I think you said this, Sam. You're like, LA's a great place to move and quit comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember
here.
It's where people come to quit comedy.
Well, because like we were saying,
you saying that like right when I first moved here, and I was like, really?
It's true.
well, no, but I mean, you could flip that in a good way where, like I said, it's that place where art and commerce meets like nowhere else in human history. And you can quit comedy to do a thing where you get paid to just sit in a writer's room and come up with funny things for a cartoon, which maybe you didn't have anything that would, any impression that would be your way forward. I have friends who moved here to be musicians and now they produce podcasts and they love it because they get to use they get paid a bunch of money to use their, stuff they learned in audio engineering school, and they're not fronting a huge rock band, but they're getting paid to fucking twist knobs, which is what they like.
And you find out the breadth of what you do, what you're capable of doing.
Yeah.
Like the whole thing of like, it's like you want to be like a famous celebrity rock star musician or whatever, but you find that you're better at other things.
Yeah.
And that's like, in a fulfilling way, it's utilizing your you'll find 1.5 million ways to utilize your talents out here.
And Sam said, have some practical skills and use them. When I first moved here, one of the things that I noticed is that everybody's, and this is still I didn't change shit about this, but everybody's show posters are just terrible. Like, people made the worst looking show posters. So the way I got on shows when I first moved here was like, hey, I will make you like posters for the next 4 shows if you give me 5 minutes.
Right.
Use that practical skill that you have. Like, I'm not a graphic designer, but I can kind of half-ass do it. Use that skill to kind of like put your foot on the ladder, so you can at least, if you are competent, and I was like, well, I got 5 good minutes of stand-up, so I can at least get booked on this show, make them laugh, prove I'm not some fucking crazy person.
Yeah.
Give them a few posters, and hey, good trade.
It is a separating the wheat from the chaff kind of thing out of in stand-up wise, just in terms of stand-up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's nice to just be validated as like, yeah, you're good, and not like kill a room. Just be like, yeah, you're fine.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, mister.
If somebody that you respect tells you that, it feels great.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. If someone's just like, yeah, like they're not gonna like shit their pants, being like, you're hilarious, like. But they're going to be like, yeah, you're good. If someone you respect tells you that, it makes you feel like I could maybe last another 6 months here.
Or somebody who has a special on Comedy Central or something.
Yeah,
It's like, they just told me they liked my material. But whatever. Honestly, in my opinion, we're giving you too much advice in the future. Because based off what you said, you don't really know what you want to do with your life right now. That's perfectly understandable. When I was 26, I was just getting into comedy. I had just learned what I wanted to do with my life. You need to find something that you just enjoy doing. And if you can find something you enjoy doing that you can see a path to maybe making a profession out of it one day, like, I don't know, let's say you like fucking putting together guitars, stringing guitars.
Yeah,
sure.
Then you can maybe realize you can work on guitars.
Yeah, you want to be a luthier or something.
You can open your own shop. That's just an example. But it's like one of those things, like, if you don't find something you like to do, you're not going to be happy no matter where you're at.
You're right.
Yeah.
And if you find something you like to do, you may realize that you don't even need to move to LA or San Diego.
It's true. Yeah.
You may realize that that's going to take your life in a completely different path. And really finding something that you enjoy doing, it changed my life completely.
Yeah.
100%. Like, I'm one of those people that's like a fucking dumbass, and I'm like, comedy saved my life, because it absolutely did. If I didn't start doing comedy, I would be fucking drunk in some shitty kitchen cooking fucking food for assholes right now.
Yeah.
Right.
And instead, I'm on a podcast with my 2 best friends in the whole world.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I was scared to follow my dreams. I had known I wanted to try stand-up for so long.
Yep.
I had known for so fucking long I wanted to try it. I quit. I was working 2 jobs at one point, 2 kitchen jobs, one in the afternoon, one at night. I quit my job at night so I could do stand-up because I knew I wanted to do it so bad. It took me another year to even try it because I was so fucking scared to try it.
Yeah.
I just couldn't do it. And then I realized
You got a
one
lot
day,
of respect for the craft.
but also it was like, I don't know how fucking open mics work, where they happen.
Right,
Like that.
yeah.
I end up going to dinner with my brother at the Cherrywood Coffee House in Austin. and see that they have an open mic there one time.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, cool. And then we go back there another time. I see a guy performing. He's fucking bombing so hard, and I just think, like, man, if people are like this are trying, why the fuck am I scared to try?
Dude, that's what got me started. Watching people bomb got me to start doing it too. I was like, oh, I can do it.
And the guy who bombed, turns out he's one of my best friends. Extremely funny comedian.
Right.
He was just eating shit, but at the same time, it's like
Part of it.
seeing something like that, it'll make you be like, fuck it.
Yeah.
Because it's an open mic. Nothing matters.
That's
But, you know, do your thing, man. Find the thing that you like to do. Because I was a mess before I started stand-up.
Yeah.
After a year doing stand-up, I quit drinking. I really stopped doing drugs other than weed.
Yeah.
It improved my life so much
Yeah.
to just
Right.
have stand-up comedy as a thing in my life.
Yeah.
I always wonder because it's so crazy you're saying that because that's the same thing. Like there is, if I had one, it's not even a regret. It's just like if there was a thing I could fucking change. My friend Raleigh and I worked at a pizza place, and we would get off every night at like 4 a.m. And we lived together on Oak Street in Auburn, and we're sitting out in the back patio. We're 19 years old, and we're talking about, I think, Lewis Black. Like, we fucking loved that record, Into the Universe.
Right,
And we're talking about it, and I remember saying, I was like, man, if you ever wanted to try it, it's the first time I ever said it to anybody. And I'd had it in my head where I was like, I want to do some
For how
stand-up.
long? When did you first know you wanted to do it?
It's you know, it's the classic like fat kid defense mecanism of like, oh, I can make people laugh. I'm not fucking good at sports. I'm not, you know, whatever, that's smart, but I can fucking at least like.
I felt I was a fat kid too, and I had that, but I saw Dana Carvey's special.
Oh, chopping and broccoli.
Yeah, that they used to play all the time on Comedy Central, and I fucking was like, my body was hurting. I was laughing so hard.
Oh man.
And then I was just like, and I was probably fucking 8 years old, 9 year, 10 maybe.
Yeah.
And I was just like, that is so, like, I enjoyed it so much. I was like, that just looks so fun.
Yeah.
I wanted to do it since I was fucking 10.
Yeah.
And I didn't do it till I was 25.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same, dude.
Yeah. But I always think about that conversation. It was the same thing you were saying where you don't even understand like how to get into it. So it was just that conversation just disappeared into the air that night where we were like, yeah, I'd really like to try that. That was when I was 19 and I didn't start till I think I was like 24. And one of the things that happened at that was I worked at a radio station on campus with a guy named Anthony Dinar who put together comedy shows in Auburn. And I remember seeing Kevin Socher, great comic based out of New York City now, and Martin Morrow and fucking this guy. Carter.
Oh, yeah.
Because I remember seeing him. I remember I always tell people about your joke about everybody's last name. It used to be what they did for a living.
Oh, yeah.
That means somewhere back in time there's a person in Ireland pulling a glass dick out of the fire going, I have another one ready, mother.
Yeah. He's over with that.
That's why I've never forgotten your name. I was like, Carter Glasscock, because you got a joke about your last name.
Man.
I've forgotten it.
Yeah.
When you came to town, your Instagram was Dr. Clark.
Yeah.
When I first met you, I'd always be like, Clark?
Yeah, I've since changed it under the advice of my girlfriend, but which kind of felt, it's been my Instagram handle for like, as long as I've had it.
Yeah.
And I changed it. And I was like, it was kind of like, putting down a sick dog or something. I was like, ugh. But yeah, I mean, I've started same as you guys. I was like, fuck, how old was I? I've been doing it in May. I've been doing it for 10 years. So I guess I was 23 when I started, and I wanted to do it since forever. Since I started watching it on Comedy Central. That Dana Carvey
That's a great one. I remember
was huge.
I watched that one. I remember watching Norms. They would show Norm's HBO special too, and that one was fucking incredible.
I was a big fan of that. I used to really love the albums. Like I used to really listen to comedy albums a lot, and so I liked. Like David Cross's "Shut Up, You Fucking Baby" and
Feeling Kind of Patton,
Skanks for the Memories. Like I was a big fan of those.
Killing Him Softly,
Richard Pryor's old shit.
Oh, yeah, well,
I mean,
my dad was a big Carlin guy, and I remember like as a child, my dad and my Uncle Jim and my Uncle Mike would sit in the living room drinking with the lights off and listening to fucking George Carlin. Just they'd all be in a different chair and I'd be on the floor like listening to shit, piss, fuck, cunt, cocksucker, motherfucker, tits,
fart, turd, twat.
And it was it was just like it was so forbidden. And my dad didn't give a shit. He was like, I'll
tell you. So to answer this question, yes, you should move to Los Angeles.
If you are as passionate about
Right.
something as we just were talking about comedy.
Yeah.
Fucking move here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or move wherever you need to go to do that
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, I forgot that was my whole point of telling that story about, we were 19 talking about stand up is like you were saying, like I'd always kind of known I wanted to do that, and I wonder if everybody has a thing in their head that they know that that's the thing they want to do, and they're just like afraid to act
I think
on it.
a lot of people do.
I think a lot of people
I think a lot of people do, but it's also when you're just around stand-ups all the time and people who are in the entertainment industry or trying to be,
Yeah.
you realize that some people aren't too.
Yeah.
You realize like some people are fine with just living a life.
Yeah, and that's cool too. Weekend warriors, hobbyists. You can't be pissed at them.
If you have a fucking comfortable schedule and your job pays you well and you're content with doing that and you have fun hobbies outside of work,
great.
Fuck yeah. You know how many comics wish they had that?
I know.
Fuck
Seriously.
Yeah.
I would quit comedy tomorrow if you paid me enough money to never... We were talking about it. How much would it cost for you to never do comedy again? A couple million, maybe. Maybe 1 million probably would do me a fine.
Yeah.
I mean, a couple. I mean, I think about it all the time. Like, I'm 32. Boy, it would be nice to own a house.
I'm 32. I fucking sleep on a mattress on the floor.
Yeah.
Boy, howdy. I used to have a bed frame. Woo. Those were the days.
Yeah.
Well, I'm 33 and I have a bed frame, but it came with the bed. So.
Yeah. You have a nice room.
Yeah. Rivers is the comic who you'd walk in this room and not think he's a stand-up comedian.
Yeah. So you seem to
by
get
the
together.
amount of stuff he has that doesn't in fucking destroy. Like, usually you walk into a comics place and it's fucking destroyed.
Yeah. Or their car. It's like, ugh.
Anyway, but yeah, so find
Follow your dreams. Find your dreams and then follow them.
I was gonna say, as Charles Bukowski said, find what you love to do and then let it kill you slowly.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh man, shit. Yeah, that's a good quote.
That's a well. Is that an episode, y'all? Do we have?
I think so.
I think I covered everything I brought to the table today.
Yeah.
Thanks to Josh again for the GameStop idea.
Yeah, and thanks for Dom for writing in.
Thanks.
Great to hear from people. If you've got
Oh yeah, Dom. Shout out to Dom.
shout out to Dom. If you've got advice, something you need to have us legislate in some way, hit us up at the Goods Pod on Twitter, and of course the best way to support the show, patreon.com/thegoodspod. We just did just did an episode about Fred Durst's movie called Fanatic, and it's wild with John Travolta. So
Oh yeah.
that's what we got for you this week on the Patreon.
Yeah.
It was a good one.
Yeah.
And as always, if you get the Patreon, you get access to my phone number.
Yeah, Sam,
You
you're
want to
not
be
right.
one of the people who suggests topics to me?
Yeah.
You can easily
Just
do that. $5 a month.
Text him.
Straight to the source.
Just
Yeah.
text him. Yeah.
You can send me pictures,
yeah.
dick or titty.
There you go. accepting nudes.
Yeah.
yes.
Why not?
Open for
It's
nudes.
quarantine time. People are fucking bouncing off the walls horny. you
Yeah.
know?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They got to show these genitals to somebody.
These finely crafted pubes.
Yeah.
And for what?
Oh Lord. Well, that's it. Carter, where can people find you on the internet?
Carter_Glasscock on Twitter and Instagram. That's where you can find me.
Sam,
Sam Harder on Facebook. Join the Patreon to really get in contact with me.
get the phone
That's
number.
right.
Get the real number. Twitter and Instagram at Rivers Langley, and do all that stuff. And we will see you next time. Oh, I forgot. R.I.P. to the gambler.
Yeah, R.I.P. Kenny Rogers.
Kenny
dude.
Rogers, yeah. We got our friend Jonny Moze, who called in a couple days ago, actually sent me. He did a cover of "Love Will Turn You Around," which is my favorite Kenny Rogers song. So
Damn.
here's Jonny Moze with "Love Will Turn You Around." See you next time.
R.I.P.
You can run, you can hide, never let it inside. Living your life in the dark. Sooner or later, that gentle persuader is gonna catch up with your heart, make you a dreamer. Believe in love. Right when the man's doing all that he planned, and he thinks he's got just what he needs. Life will deliver a shock to his shiver and a driving him down to his knees. Make him start looking, living don't need a sign to make up your mind. You got your heart on the groove. Wanna start sharing, caring again. But it's your mind.